We live right now. Today is Saturday, January 25th, 2025, and we're doing pretty good. I hope you're doing well on this new year. Can we say Happy New Year, or we're done with that? I don't know. I think we're close on the verge to being done with that. So I was thinking about a topic today, and it's one of the things that I've actually been going through, but I kind of pinpointed a little bit. We'll see how well this goes for us in general in regards to coffee, right? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about coffee and insights and all that good stuff from my unique point of view. So I kind of started off a little bit about thinking about something like a problem solver, because with my background being engineering, it's about problem solving. But I think everybody does problem solving, no matter what they do. That's really the name of the game. That's the jobs that we do in order to, survive and live and do our thing, right? We're always trying to, provide solutions to issues and problems and all that good stuff, right? So it's one of those things to where I've thought about this for a while, and my unique perspective is my unique perspective. But I think a lot of things, when we do these things, we are really coming from it from the same point of view. We just approach it probably slightly differently. And in this case, as we talk about our topic today, I want to kind of bring up a situation where I'm actually going through right now. I've been testing out different recipes, scenarios, different things like that, to the point to where I'm trying to be as objective as I can with my thoughts and feelings. But I always go back to the same type of notion or feeling or thought that's always just in my mind. So here it is. One of my biggest challenges I have with coffee is it possible to make every coffee tasty? Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not saying like trash from the grocery store. Some of it I know is pretty good. But let's talk about specialty coffee, for instance. Let's just put that realm in of what that is. And I think that's very opinionated. That's something that somebody would like to do or try to accomplish. But I have this thing to where I can't get that all the time. I can't get that process or that feeling or that goal or that mission to like solve or crack this coffee. I know this may sound a little bit crazy, but hear me out. What is it that I'm really trying to do? Because at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to change the personality or the perception of what that coffee is. I really can't do that, because that coffee is uniquely the way it is. And that coffee is what makes it special to that person, special to that roaster or whatever, right? But at times, because I've been struggling with this quite a bit, I had a Sumatran. I'll give you a little context. I had a Sumatran coffee, and I brewed the crap out of it. I probably talked about it before already, but I brewed the crap out of it. And I tried so many different things and all that stuff in order to bring the best out of this coffee. But I realized that I was already behind the 8 ball, meaning that it didn't do anything for me. And as I came to this realization is that the coffee is what it is. And those are things that I go back and forth with quite a bit, because if you're trying to make or create this thing that is supposed to be magical, specialty, right? Because I think that's what we're talking about here. It already has some innate special tastes or feelings that the roaster or the producer or whoever has said that this coffee is on this particular scale, with the smell, the taste, and all that good stuff, and aftertaste and all the cupping crap that we know and love, right? Well, not me, but but in truth, a lot of times coffee can just be okay. And I haven't really taken myself out of there to the point to where I'm okay with it being the way it is. I think if something's presented to me in person and I'm able to use the knowledge that I have with brewing, playing around with water chemistry, with, third wave water, playing around with the gadgets that I do have to kind of go back into the past or my past experience with coffee and all that good stuff to really try to get to a place to where I can make this thing magical, light, medium, dark roast, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I get extremely frustrated and disappointed and very mad at myself because I can't or not able to actually bring this coffee to light. And I don't know if you go through that, but I go through that quite a bit. And I don't know if this is just me just trying to be obsessed with the craft of like trying to chase that magic cup of coffee or just trying to pick like one thing that is good about this coffee. I think that's really what it is that I have to like come back and just kind of just see things for what it is and be like, okay, probably this coffee is good this way and just move on. Or it just simply sucks. And that's perfectly fine too, to me. And I think that's the crazy, wacky thing about this is that we have different palates, we have different expectations. We're going about this in a way to where we are just trying to understand this coffee that's presented to us the way it is, right? That's just me. I don't know. I get mad at coffee quite a bit. I get frustrated. I don't know if you go through that. I know I've talked about this a couple times and probably beating a dead horse here or there, right? That's the logic or the analogy that we use sometimes. But I think it's okay to revisit topics kind of like this, especially as we're going through this whole thing of understanding coffee. Because I think what it is too is that as I understand coffee even more so, taste coffee, analyze it, be as objective as I can into my approach and to the way that I'm going about things, it's that it's interesting that even though I'm getting better each and every day that I'm doing this thing, this routine, this craft, this something, because I'm chasing something. I'm chasing an amazing product. Yeah. I think that's all it matters to me, chasing that perfect product. And it's like, I don't want to let people down, especially when I'm selling this product. And I think that's part of the situation that I'm in right now as I try to gather my thoughts and gather the things that I think that's important to me and probably what's important to you. But that's my biggest challenge is like, is it possible to have every hot coffee, especially if it's considered special? What does that really mean? What does special mean? Me ask myself that. I guess I just asked myself that just now, but what does special really mean? Above the ordinary, not normal, better? What does better mean? And as we're talking about this, that's really extremely subjective. But what makes coffee special? Because a lot of times it's not special, especially when we have all these gadgets. We're trying to manipulate the coffee. We're trying to understand the personality that it presents us. Those are some of the things that I think about constantly all the time. And as we go through this and try to explore our palates, our minds, and this journey that we're in, I think we're always going to be asking ourselves, what is special about coffee? Just in general. Of course, it's the taste, it's the smell, it's all the memories that it does for us. It wakes us up. It like makes us realize that this is what comes out of a coffee bean. But it does disappoint us. It truly, really does. For me, it does sometimes. And as I try to figure out coffee, try to figure out this light roast, dark roast, medium roast, especially with a new grinder and playing around with water and all that good stuff. What is it that we are not realizing that we don't know? Or again, it comes back to, what do we call special? What does that really mean? And I think that's a question that we need to ask ourselves each and every time, probably that we make coffee. At least me. I know you go through that too. It's one of those things to where it's like, okay. we're getting somewhere. We're understanding what that really means for us. And I think we're going to keep going down this journey through this place that we don't even know where the outcome or the end game is. It doesn't really matter. I guess what I'm saying here is that we're always asking those questions. I'm always asking those questions. It's like, why is this coffee special? What makes this coffee like happy for me? Because if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. But I think I'm going to start asking those questions about when I make this coffee. Not caring about the cupping or the tasting notes. It doesn't really matter. I think we have to keep exploring because this is just the ball game that we're in. And as we understand coffee even more so, it's one of those things to where we will get there eventually. And I know everything that we do is not going to be a home run. I know that. That's not what I'm saying here. But I guess what I'm saying is that can most things, especially wise, that's the word, can be there? Are we working at a 70, 80% way of going about it? What are we doing here? What are we really trying to focus on? What are we trying to gather as we understand this craft even more so? So that's my biggest thing. Can I make any coffee tasty? Especially if it's already categorized as tasty. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm focused on. Those are some of the things that truly get me going each and every day that I look at it. I may make a cup of coffee right now after this podcast or this talk. I don't know. Probably play around with light roasts. Probably get frustrated. Probably get pissed. I don't know. We're going to see. But those are the things that I think about. What about you? What are some of the challenges that you have with coffee or the frustrations or the things that you're trying to figure out? Because I think at the end of the day, I've told you what I've gone through. Probably it's the same or still continue to go through something that I know that I'm going to go through forever. But it's one of those things to where it's like, how does that really help us? Because I think at the end of the day, when I've started to think about this logic, this understanding of coffee, it's coming from the place that I am right now, the person that I am right now, not even the person that I think that I am going to be, as I am right now. And it's going to be interesting how that changes as I continue to grow in coffee and with coffee and understand my palate even more so as I try to push myself, try different things, try different fruits, try different vegetables, try different foods in order to help me understand this coffee thing. I just want to be as well-rounded as I can in interpreting what I'm tasting and what I love about it and what I don't like about it. But as I am right now, this is the way I feel. And I'm looking forward to how the journey is going to change because of the challenges that I am going to put out there for you, for me, and see what we learn about it. Because I think that's going to be the biggest things about all of this. Is like we always have to take who we are right now and push ourselves even further to the challenges that we are going to go on. And as we do that, I think we're going to be in a better place. I hope so. At least that's part of the journey, right? So this is me, Oki, Everyday Being, signing out. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.